Law Firm Live, so you get to see us twice today. But anyways, happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone out there. One of the bright spots of social distancing is less of a chance to get pinched for not wearing green, although I did pinch my children. But during this time of uncertainty, many of us may be finding ourselves kind of in an unexpected situation. So working remotely with our teams, with our clients. Laura and I have been running a virtual law firm for over 5 years. And so we'd like to share 3 tips to protect the security of sensitive communications and information that you're going to be accessing on your computer, because especially if you work with sensitive information, that's really important. And that's kind of an area that you're still responsible for, even if you are in a crisis. It doesn't matter. You still have to live up to your ethics responsibilities.
Exactly. So the first thing we're going to talk about, first tip that we have is when you're working on Wi-Fi. So unless you access the internet with a cable plugged into your computer 100% of the time, which very few people do, if you're out there, I don't know if I want to say good for you or move around a little bit, but if you're doing that, if you're not connected to a cable 100% of the time, then you're definitely using Wi-Fi in your practice. Couple of things to think about when you're using Wi-Fi to practice law. Number one is, do you have a password protected Wi-Fi network? This might seem obvious, but to a lot of people it's not. It not only does your own network need to be password protected, but it needs to be secured. It needs to be something other than like 1, 2, 3, 4 or password or something like that, because there are situations where people will drive around and try to access Wi-Fis. And you'd be surprised how many times, you can go up and click on the Wi-Fi icon on your computer and see what other Wi-Fi networks are available and see the ones that are unlocked. So keep that in mind. The biggest tip that we have with using Wi-Fi, though, is, have you ever heard of a VPN, a virtual private network? So a VPN, in our opinion, is kind of a must-have when you're working on Wi-Fi, even your own, for protecting client information, but also protecting yourself from, people knowing kind of where you are and what you're doing. So the VPN, if you have access to a VPN, it's a way to disguise your presence and location to those who would be looking to access your computer. So for example, on my VPN, a lot of times I'll sign in and be connected to LA or Chicago or something like that, so that my location is not Little Rock, Arkansas. It makes it a lot less easy for somebody who knows that I practice law in Arkansas to find me, because I never connect in Arkansas, if that makes sense. So to get a VPN, there are free options. I wouldn't necessarily always recommend the free ones. It's kind of that you get what you pay for, but there are also very low cost options out there. So just do some Googling. If you have questions, feel free to ask us or ask a friend who has some computer knowledge.
Right. And also privacy protectors. So there are some simple things that you can do for that. Where are my people out there who are extroverts? We are not okay right now, guys. We are not okay. But, a lot of us like to go out and work in coffee shops. People work on planes, when you're at conferences. So in addition to some of the precautions that Laura was talking about, you also can do things physically to protect your actual physical space. And one of those things is a privacy screen protector for your laptop. That's kind of the first line of defense against any prying eyes that may be trying to read the information on your screen as you're working. I know we were at a conference last month, and a friend of mine was a few rows back and texted and said, "There's a lady right behind you, and she is just working on all sorts of client stuff. I can see everything that she's doing." But if you have a privacy screen, typically people can't really see if they're on either side of you. So you want to be careful with that. And prices for that kind of range between $30 to $100. So not really expensive, but it could prevent some major breaches in confidentiality.
Exactly. And our number 3 security tip for today, there are 1,000 more that we could give you, but our number 3 security tip for today is use your client portals. We preach about this all the time. So you might be tired of hearing us talk about it, but it is really honestly one of the most important things you can do. Most lawyers work with some type of practice management system. Even if they don't work at home or remotely at all, They have a practice management system in place for keeping track of tasks and things like that. Practice Panther, Clio, MyCase, a bunch of them out there. Many of these systems have what we consider our most valuable tool, which is the client portal. The client portal is the most underutilized tool in an attorney's toolbox. Every time we speak to other attorneys at conferences or when we're asked to do CLEs, one of the first things that we do is we poll the group by asking who uses the client sorry, I can't say that word today. Who uses the client portal that they're already paying for. And consistently, it is a small number of hands that go up.
Like two.
Like two, exactly, out of a room of 100. So it's really like the most underutilized tool, and something that will make everything easier for you and more secure for sharing information. If you are, let's talk about email, for example. Email is something that we know that a lot of attorneys use with their clients. Email is hackable. If email is the primary source of how you communicate with your clients, obviously phone conversations are different, but if email is how you're communicating with your clients to get that sensitive information, to have them share banking information, to doing their intake forms, whatever it might be, you are not doing your due diligence in protecting attorney-client privilege and their information. So look into your client portal. It's a secure login, no matter what system you use. It's a secure login. Everything is in one place for your client and for yourself. That's one of the reasons we love it too, besides the security, is that our entire case file is in one place, as opposed to having to go hunt for random email chains that happened 3 weeks ago. So just check out the client portal that you're already paying for. Again, already paying for it. I used to work for Westlaw for a lot of years, and one of the things that I did was I'd go around and teach people how to use things that they were already paying for that they didn't even know about. So client portals, that's kind of our number one thing that we use for security and for ease of attorney organization as well.
Right. I mean, that's kind of what we say is how we're virtual, why we're virtual. And if you haven't looked at any software that includes that, definitely now is the time, as law firms kind of scramble to figure out, how they're going to work remotely together and also work with clients remotely. So it's definitely a great place to start in moving remote or virtual, even if it's just for the time being. So also, Laura and I are really committed to using technology to better our lives and the experience of our clients. And as such, security is really a top priority and in the forefront of every conversation we end up having with vendors and ourselves whenever we're looking at different products and software that we're using internally or to serve our clients. And so, again, we're, virtual lawyers. So we are super excited. We've talked about it, mentioned it just a little bit here and there, but we are finally launching our online 5-week course in April, dedicated to imparting our experiences on building and growing specifically a virtual practice. So there are a variety of topics that will be covered, but essentially we are going to help you learn how to have a fully virtual or partially virtual practice. Please visit our website. It's MyVirtual.Lawyer to learn more. We have a page where you can sign up to get on our email list also, so that way you can stay up to date with things that are going on with us and any resources we have to provide. We'll also put a link to our course on this post for easy access. But we hope you guys are all not going stir crazy, that you're managing to juggle family responsibilities and work from home or wherever you are, but be safe. And join us next week. We'll be here next Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central, 11 Mountain, and 10 Pacific. And we hope you guys have a great week. Thanks. Bye.